Lewis Hamilton has just put Ferrari on top in Hungary. Charles Leclerc is only 0.148 seconds behind, and the nearest non-Ferrari car is already around half a second away. Now Ferrari faces a dangerous decision. The source does not confirm one specific overnight adjustment, but it does show the team refining the rear suspension, ride height, braking stability, and aerodynamic balance of the SF-26. Change too little, and the rivals may catch them. Change too much, and Ferrari could destroy the exact performance window that made Hamilton fastest. But if the engineers get this right, the car approaching qualifying may be far more powerful than anything Friday revealed. Subscribe to the channel. Ferrari's Friday looked almost perfect. Hamilton was fastest. Leclerc was close behind. The nearest non-Ferrari car was around half a second away. But this is exactly when the most dangerous work begins, because Ferrari cannot simply look at the timing screen and assume the car is ready. The team now has to decide whether the SF-26 should remain almost untouched or whether small adjustments are needed before qualifying. And that decision could define the entire weekend. There's no confirmed report of one dramatic overnight change to Hamilton's car. No single adjustment has been publicly identified as the secret. What is clear is that Ferrari has continued refining the relationship between the rear suspension, the ride height, the braking behavior, and the aerodynamic balance. That sounds like several separate areas. In reality, they all influence each other. The suspension controls how the car moves when Hamilton brakes, turns, and accelerates. The ride height changes how the airflow behaves beneath the car. The braking balance affects whether the rear remains stable as the weight moves forward. And the aerodynamic balance determines whether the front and rear produce grip at the right moment. When all of those elements work together, the driver can attack. When one of them moves out of line, the car can become unpredictable very quickly. Imagine carrying a tray filled with glasses. When the tray is perfectly level, you can walk quickly without thinking. But if one side drops slightly, every step becomes slower. Every movement becomes careful. And suddenly, something that looked easy becomes stressful. That is the challenge Ferrari faces. On Friday, Hamilton may have found the correct balance. Not a magical setup, not a hidden button, a narrow performance window, and that window placed him at the top. His fastest lap was 1 minute, 18.729 seconds. Leclerc finished only 0.148 seconds behind. Lando Norris was the nearest driver outside Ferrari, already around half a second away. Those numbers immediately created excitement. But for Ferrari's engineers, the gap alone is not enough. They need to know how Hamilton produced it. Was the rear stable under braking? Could he apply the throttle earlier? Did the tires remain in the correct temperature range? Was the car predictable through the slow corners? Could he repeat the same balance over several laps? Those questions are more important than first place, because one fast lap can happen when everything aligns for a few seconds. A winning car has to create that performance again and again, under pressure. That is where Hungary becomes such an important test. The Hungaroring is packed with slower corners. The driver is constantly asking the car to brake, rotate, settle, and accelerate. Then, almost immediately, the next corner arrives. There is no time to recover. A small mistake at the start of a sequence can damage several corners. If Hamilton hesitates before applying the power, he loses speed on the exit. If the rear slides, the tires gain heat. If the front does not respond, he misses the ideal line. One small weakness becomes another, and by the end of the lap, the time has disappeared. Ferrari's rear suspension development was expected to help in exactly this type of corner. The goal was to give the driver a more stable platform without making the car unwilling to turn. That balance is extremely difficult. Too much stability, and the car feels lazy. Too much rotation, and the rear becomes nervous. Ferrari needs the front to respond quickly, while the rear remains calm enough for Hamilton to trust it. Friday suggested the team move closer to that answer. But closer is not the same as finished. The track will change. More rubber will build on the racing line. Temperatures may rise or fall. The tires may reach their ideal condition at a different point, and the rivals will return with better information. That means Ferrari cannot simply copy Friday and expect the same result. The engineers must predict what the car will need later. And this is where small adjustments become dangerous. A tiny change in ride height may improve the airflow beneath the car. It may also change how the car behaves over curbs. A small suspension adjustment may make the rear more stable. It may also reduce the rotation Hamilton needs in slower corners. A braking change may help the car enter the corner. It may also make the rear tires work harder. Every solution creates another question. That is why the fastest car can sometimes be the hardest car to adjust. When a team is slow, change feels necessary. When a team is first and second, change feels like a risk. Ferrari has something valuable now. A balance that placed both cars at the front. The team must protect it, but protecting the setup does not mean refusing to improve it. That would create another danger. McLaren and Mercedes lost useful running after the red flag caused by Franco Colapinto's accident. Some of their planned laps were interrupted. Some of their strongest performance may not have appeared. So Ferrari cannot assume the half-second advantage will remain. Norris may have more speed available. Mercedes may improve its tire preparation. Verstappen may produce a much stronger lap when qualifying begins. The Friday order may be real. The size of the gap may not be. That uncertainty places even more pressure on Ferrari. Change too little, and the rivals may close the difference. Change too much, and Ferrari may lose the performance it already has. The team must find the smallest possible improvement. That is the key. Not a complete transformation. Precision. One unpredictable reaction forces the driver to protect the next corner. One moment of doubt changes the entire rhythm of the lap. And at the Hungaroring, rhythm is everything. The corners come in sequences. A poor entry can ruin the exit. A poor exit can weaken the next braking zone. The driver is not solving one corner at a time. He is controlling a chain. If Ferrari gives Hamilton a car that remains stable through that chain, the lap can become much stronger. This is where the rear suspension work may offer its greatest benefit. Not simply more grip, more continuity. The car can move from braking to rotation, then from rotation to acceleration, without forcing Hamilton to reset his confidence every few seconds. That may sound small. It is not. A driver who trusts the transition can carry speed naturally. A driver who does not trust it must wait for confirmation. Waiting costs time. And around the circuit, waiting once is expensive. Waiting repeatedly is devastating. Ferrari, therefore, has a clear target. Do not reinvent the car. Do not chase one dramatic change. Make the transitions cleaner. Make the rear more predictable. Protect the tires. Preserve the rotation. And keep the car inside the performance window that appeared on Friday. That sounds simple. Is the hardest kind of engineering. Because improving one transition can weaken another. More stability under braking may reduce rotation in the middle of the corner. More rotation may increase rear tire stress on exit. More aerodynamic load may help one section but increase sensitivity to ride height. Every adjustment creates a trade-off. Ferrari must choose the trade-off that costs the least. And this is where Hamilton's experience becomes especially valuable. He does not only provide a lap time, he can explain which weakness is manageable and which weakness prevents commitment. That distinction can stop Ferrari from making unnecessary changes. A driver may dislike one part of the car but still understand it. Another problem may feel smaller, yet create far more time loss because it appears unexpectedly. Hamilton's feedback can help Ferrari separate those two. Leclerc's feedback can provide another comparison. If both drivers identify the same instability, Ferrari has a clear target. If only one driver feels it, the issue may come from setup preference. If both cars gain time in the same corners, Ferrari may have found a genuine strength. If they reach the result through different methods, the team must be more careful. That is why having both cars at the front is so valuable. The comparison becomes stronger. One driver's lap provides information. Two drivers near the same pace provide confirmation. Ferrari can look for patterns, not one dramatic moment, repeated behavior, the same stability, the same tire response, the same gain through slow corners. That is how the team turns practice into understanding. But one unresolved issue remains in the background. Leclerc reported that something had broken during the opening session. The exact component was not identified in the source. There is no confirmed link to the suspension development. There's no verified evidence that Hamilton's car suffered the same risk. Still, Ferrari cannot separate reliability from performance. The team may find the cause and remove the concern completely. That would allow both drivers to attack. But if the problem remains uncertain, Ferrari may face a difficult compromise. Protect the car, or use the full performance. A team with no speed can afford to be cautious. A team with a chance to lead cannot make that choice so easily. The opportunity changes the calculation. If Ferrari believes pole position is possible, every protective reduction becomes painful. A slightly safer setup may cost 1/10. 1/10 may place Hamilton behind Leclerc. It may place both Ferraris behind Norris. It may change the entire race. That is why reliability pressure becomes so intense when the car is competitive. The team is not only trying to finish, is trying to win. And the difference between those two goals changes every decision. Ferrari must trust its investigation. If the mechanical issue was isolated, the team has to attack without carrying unnecessary fear. If the issue requires action, the team must act before the pressure exposes it again. There is no room for guesswork. That is why Vasseur's emphasis on discipline matters. Ferrari cannot allow excitement to control the process. It cannot allow fear to control it either. The team needs evidence, clear feedback, careful adjustment, and a precise understanding of what the Friday result actually proved. It proved Hamilton could lead the session. It proved Leclerc could remain close. It proved the car suited Hungary's slower corners. It suggested the recent development work was moving in the right direction. But it did not prove the gap to the rivals would remain. It did not prove the car would feel the same in qualifying. And it did not prove the reliability concern had disappeared. Those answers are still coming. That is why the monster is not fully awake yet. Ferrari has seen the shape of it. The speed is there. The balance is beginning to connect. Hamilton has shown that the car can reach first place. Leclerc has shown that the performance exists across both sides of the garage. Now Ferrari must remove the hesitation. Not by making the car completely different, by making the existing strength easier to repeat. That is the real objective of the adjustments. A car that works once is promising. A car that works on command is dangerous. And if Hamilton enters qualifying with the same speed, better predictability, and complete confidence in the rear of the SF-26, then Friday's result will no longer look like the peak. It will look like the warning.